To McBride's legal matters, we go back via Skype to legal analyst Brenda Wardle. Brenda, it's a very busy evening for you this evening. Why drop the charges now?
Well, the NPA says there is no way that they could have sustained or proved the guilt of McBride and his two accomplices, if I may put it that way, meaning that there was absolutely no evidence. The McBride case, obviously, going back to the illegal rendition of 4 to 6 Zimbabwe nationals, and the allegation then was that it was General Anwar Dramat and Shadrach Sabia who were responsible for that. A report had been issued, and the initial findings of that report basically stated that they were, Dramat and Sabia were criminally liable and that they should be prosecuted. And a subsequent report a couple of months thereafter exonerated him. And this is where Minister Nhleko then said that the second report had actually been tampered with, or it was fraudulent because it did not compare to the first report.
Now, does the dropping of these charges set any particular precedent?
Well, the dropping of charges doesn't necessarily set a precedent. Remember that they appeared in a lower court, being a magistrate's court or a regional court, and decisions of, it's not even a decision of the court, it's essentially the National Prosecuting Authority saying we are discontinuing the prosecution or withdrawing the charges against the accused person.
Now, last month, the Constitutional Court ruled that Police Minister Nathi Nhlego's decision to suspend McBride was unlawful and set it aside. What really informed this decision?
Well, we must remember, in all fairness to Minister Nhleko, at the time that he placed Robert McBride on precautionary suspension, the Act actually allowed him to do so. But those provisions of Section 6, subsection 6 of Section 6.6 of that Act were declared, together with a few other provisions, were declared unlawful, and the Constitutional Court emphasized the need for the independence of the independent police investigative directorate, comparing it and referring a great deal to the Glenister judgment and the Hawks, or the Priority Crimes Investigation Unit, saying that they also ought to be independent.
Now, an internal dispute has arisen over some legal costs for McBride to successfully fight his suspension by the Police Minister Nathi Nhleko. Who should foot this bill?
In the end, I think the minister is going to have to foot that bill, I've got no doubt that McBride is not just going to accept it, they're going to do that, and you already heard the other two whose charges were also withdrawn saying that their fight now is going to be for reinstatement to the Independent Police Investigative Directorate.
Now, it's also understood, Brenda, that McBride is reviewing all appointments made by his predecessor while he was fighting his suspension. Can these be reversed?
He's reviewing all the decisions, all the appointments which were made in his absence.
Exactly.
Well, that is going to be a tricky one, because remember we've got the doctrine of ultra vires, which is he cannot do what legislation doesn't allow him to do. The courts are there to review decisions and not functionaries. Not even, I don't know in which context, so I'm just speaking from broad legal principles, that it's not going to be open sesame where he says, I am going to review these appointments. It should be done through a court, because judges are there to review decisions that have been taken administratively.
Brenda, thank you so much for joining us. We have to leave it there for now. That was legal analyst Brenda Wardle joining us via Skype.